How's it going, everybody? This is Undead Viking coming to you with another board game review. This is a game that is in Kickstarter right now and is in the process of hopefully getting funded so it can be published, and the game in question is Kaiju City. This is a preview copy, and so anything that you see here as far as the components go will not technically be the final look or the final feel of the components. Not that you can feel these things, but anyway, so you know where I'm getting at. And I know a few of you have questioned as far as why I do these, and I say I just do these because people contact me and ask me if I'm willing to, basically play a print and play version of a game, and then I just give my thoughts, and then it's up to you, the person who's watching, and deciding whether or not they want to go to Kickstarter and put some of their money down to help get the game published. But anyway, Kaiju City is a game for 2 to 6 people. It's a relatively quick game to play. What it is there's 2 sides when you play the game, depending on, and no matter how many people are playing the game. One side is the city that is being attacked by the Kaiju, the giant Japanese type themed movie monsters, like Godzilla and Mothra and those things, except of course, they don't have licensing for those. So instead they have other cool names, like here's a Pyrosaurus, a giant fire-breathing dragon / dinosaur, or, Wendigo, you know what a Wendigo is, maybe, possibly, or here's Arachnagon, like a giant evil spider. But anyway, so one side plays the monsters that is trying to destroy the city, and one side plays the city, who is trying to destroy the monsters. So I'm going to show you exactly how you play the game. It's a very simple game to learn and play, and that shouldn't take me very long at all. And then I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about Kaiju City, and then you can decide whether or not you want to go to their Kickstarter program and put some money down, and so you can be one of the first people to get a copy of this once it's published. Well, without further ado, let's find out how you play Kaiju City. Okay, here we go. This is Kaiju City. Now, this won't take me a long time to explain how the game is played, but just let me dive in here real quick. Alright, each one of these tiles here is a section of the city. The city is set up randomly at the beginning of the game. On the backs of each one of these tiles, you can see has an orange back, meaning it was one of the starting tiles. This is what a city tile that you draw later looks like. You'll notice no orange back. But each one of these tiles has different stats on it. You'll notice that the ones in orange have this little star, or this little basically explosion right there, and a number in that. And those are the military tiles that are able to actually fight the monsters, and there is no range on them, so like if there's a monster on this spot, the infantry barracks here can attack the ones that are on the airfield, and the airfield could attack the ones that are in the infantry barracks, and so on and so forth. Just as long as they haven't been destroyed and flipped over to the other side showing rubble, they are still active and able to be used. The other tiles, such as the coal burner or the SATCOM station or the factory or whatever, you'll notice that each one has, in the bottom right, has one of these batteries, a little gear, or a little person. And the people that are in charge of the city have this chart here. That's the city resource chart, and at the beginning of the game, each resource starts off at 4. But after the first turn of the game, you'll get the resources depending on every single one that is available. So, like, if nothing got destroyed after the first one game, which is highly unlikely, you'd get 4 batteries. So you'd raise the battery up to 8 or wherever this was, and then you can guess. Obviously there's 4 of each resource out there to start with, but those get destroyed fairly easily by the creatures, and hopefully, though, the city player is able to build more areas to the city so they can increase the number of tiles that they have available to them to both get resources and to use to attack the monsters. Well, at the beginning of the game, you will each monster player, up to 4, and there's 4 monsters in the city. And you have this tile here of monster data tiles. You'll deal 4 of these out. So let's just draw 4 here at random. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll see what we get here. Okay, we have Lucar, Grimalkin, Arachnagon, and Octokraken. Okay, everybody say an Octomom joke now. Ha, good one. Anyway, so you'll notice that they have these 3 stats. The first stat is the number of movement points they have. That's how many movements, spaces they can go per tile. You can't go diagonally, much as I'm pretty sure you suspected. But you can go, north, south, east, west. 3 is the number of attack dice they get when they attack. Obviously, Octomom here gets to roll lots of dice because they have tentacles. And 6 is the defense. So if you're going to be attacked by somebody, by the city, they have to roll a 6 or higher on their attack dice in order to do a damage. Also, the number on their defense is also dependent upon for their healing. If they in turn want to heal, they need to roll, the monster wants to heal on their turn, they have to roll higher than that number as well. So if you're tough to hit, you're tough to damage, but it's also tough for you to heal. And you'll notice that these 3 hit locations. And so as you take damage, you'll place these little red markers over those. And then then once you get your 3rd hit, the monster is done. I don't know if it's killed, maybe it's just driven off. And if you are in control of the monster gets killed, you get to draw another, monster tile like that, and you just get to keep playing. There's no player elimination. However, if the city manages to kill 4 monsters, they win the game. Also, just while I'm saying this, if they ever draw every single city tile out of their out of their deck here, they also win the game. So anyways, these are the 4 that I get, and you'll notice also each one has like a little special ability here. 800 tentacles. Attack any 2 adjacent city tiles. That would be once again north, south, east, and west. You see Lucar here, able to move to any face-up city tile. Devour, destroy an adjacent battery card, remove a hit. So if this one can destroy one, he gains a health. And the swarm, attack all adjacent gear cards. But anyway, so now here's the actual big thing. So let's find those. We got Arachnagon, that one. Ooh, Megadon, I like him. Mega Mantis, Lucar, and Grimalkin. So the monster player now will take their 4 cards that they have, the 4 evil creatures, and you get these little standees, and when you place them, they have to go on the edge of the city and in a non-military spot. The reason for that is because the military, if there's a monster on a military spot, the military can't attack. So that's a way for the monster players to have a little bit of control over how much damage or how many attacks that can be made in a given turn. So I'm not really thinking these through. I'm just kind of placing these down. But they have to go on the edge of the board. So the first player is always the city players. On their turn, they will draw 4 of these city tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they look at these city tiles and they see what they get. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get, for the city player anyway, they didn't get any more the orange bordered ones that are allowed to attack. But like the fission reactor has a very, very tough defense. That's a nice card. You notice that it will cost 2 gear and 2 humans to put that down. And so the windmill ridge, that's another battery, but you want to kind of spread that out. So let's build 1 of these and 1 of that. So you'd go, and as long as you have the resources, you can build as many of these as you want. And to place these, they have to be placed adjacent to a built section of the city. So we could just go up here and place that there and place that there. And you can go in any direction you want. You have to just make sure that you place them on the board. And so, because we built one with a total of 3 gears, 1 battery, and 2 people, we will go 3 gears, 1, 2, 3, 1 battery down to 3, and 2 people down to 2. Let's see if I can still build something here. A battery and a gear and a battery. So I could build City Hall, or I could build one. Let's build the Windmill Ridge. So we'll go down to 0 of that and go down 1 more battery. So I could actually build 3 this turn. So we'll build that one as well. So once those are placed, now the attacks occur. Each one of these orange ones, I'm just going to kind of move that out so you can see these. So like, it's always good to focus an attack on one particular monster. So, you know, we kind of look, and let's just say, because of the fact that we don't really like the fact that, you know, Lucar can move to any single spot. Plus he's got a 5 defense, so he's easy to take out. We'll just start focusing our attacks. So, first one is the airfield. You roll 3 dice. Oh, I got 1. I only have to get one hit that's above the 5. So Lucar takes 1 hit of that. So then we move on. Let's go, and the tank division gets 3 dice as well. So we'll roll 3 dice for that one. Oh, there's a 7. Oh, that was a good roll. 8, 7, 8. Too bad we can't get multiple hits. So Lucar has now taken 2 hits. And we'll go to the motor pool. 2 dice. Gotta get a 5 or higher. And look at that. I've been rolling great. So, poor Lucar hasn't been able to do anything this turn. Gets destroyed. And we take Lucar off the board. This happens a lot with Lucar, actually. And then we draw another random one. And looks like, let's just draw one here. And we got Mega Mantis. So we'll go ahead, and the player who has had Lucar will then take the Mega Mantis card. And place that in the stand. We'll just go back there. And so there's 1 left, the barracks. And so let's go after, see if we can get, you know, Octocraken here. And we notice it has a defense of 6. So we roll. Oh, a 6. So Octocraken will take a point of damage. So we'll take one of those, place it on there, 1 point of damage. So now, fairly successful turn for the city player. They managed to take out 1 monster already. And now the other players now will be able to run the kaiju, the monsters, if you will. The players now will take their turns. Each one of these monsters has special abilities that you need to take into effect, but also because of the fact that, you know, you saw how easy the humans were able to just focus all their attacks on one particular monster and they're able to take it out. They need to combat that by making sure that they have these particular monsters sitting on military tiles to prevent them from attacking. So one of the first things you'll do is you'll look at the board and you'll try to determine what's the best, you know, course of action that you can take in order to combat that ability. And but you also want to make sure that you take into effect their special abilities. Take Mega Mantis, for example. You can see that it says Mega Mantis gets to attack all adjacent cards with a little human on it. Well, that's a pretty good ability. And so he can move up to 2 spaces. Or she, for that matter. So you'll notice that right here, you know, you're trying to look for spots that have those human spots on them, and looks like that, you know, there really isn't any that have it. But you'll notice that there's one with a human spot right there. And if Mega Mantis were to move down to this location, the infantry barracks wouldn't be able to fight, and now would be able to attack that spot with City Hall. Now we go on to the next one. It's like Grimalkin has the ability to devour an adjacent battery spot. So looking at him, you know, he can move 2 as well. You know, if we moved him down here, he could devour that spot, the incinerator that has the battery, but also he's preventing that motor pool from attacking. And Arachnagon will attack all adjacent cards that have the gear on it. So Arachnagon is here. Let's see, the movement is... He actually moved 3, so he's got a ton of movement. So we can go 1, 2, 3, and it can sit on that spot, you know, and now he can attack that one with the gear over there, and also preventing the tank division from attacking. And finally, you have Octocraken, which unfortunately can only move 1, but has the great ability of attacking any 2 adjacent city tiles. So, you know, Octocraken will just move down here so they can attack these particular locations that are close to that spot. Now, for the monsters to attack, it is very simple. Just like the other players, you roll dice depending upon their abilities as far as their attack values. So you'll notice that Mega Mantis gets 2 attacking the human spot, so Mega Mantis will attack that. You can see the defense of the City Hall is 5. Roll 2 dice, destroys it. So you turn that spot over. Now they don't have access to that particular resource. Grimalkin can attack the adjacent battery, so he can attack the incinerator. Grimalkin has attack dice of 3, which is awesome. The incinerator has a defense of 6. Roll that. Once again, God, these dice are just rolling great. I need to take these from my D&D game. And turn that one over because you've destroyed it. Octokraken also gets 3 dice. Gets to attack 2 adjacent locations. So we'll attack the farm first. Need a 6 or higher on 3 dice. Got it. So you destroy the farm. Now attack the factory with 6. 3 dice. An 8. So now get it again. That is one thing I wish these things didn't fall over so easily, but it's not that big of a deal. And finally, we have Arachnagon, who gets only 1 attack, which kind of stinks, 1 die, but attacks every single adjacent card that has a gear in it. Unfortunately, it's only 1 this turn, but it's factory with a 6, so we'll roll 1 dice, hope for a 6 or better. Well, we finally fail. Arachnagon is unable to destroy this factory, but still a very successful turn for the monster players. We've managed to cover every single one of the attack locations, except for the airfield up here, which will do 1 attack, which is good because of the fact that you don't have to worry about having a retaliatory strike except for that 1 spot. And plus, they've destroyed several sections of the city, and so they've reduced the resource income for the other player. Oh, and I forgot to mention that you have the option after you can also attack or heal on your turn. And notice that, remember, Octokraken took that point of damage, but also they're on top of the water tower here. So because he's only taking 1 point of damage, and there's only 1 thing that's out there that can attack right now, Octokraken will also attack the spot that they're on top of. Octokraken, if you remember correctly, has the 3 dice. Defense of the water tower is 5. And, 4, 2, and 1. I didn't actually get it. But that's okay. Octokraken will stay on the water tower, and maybe they'll destroy it next turn. So now the human player will go. They'll look and see what resources they have. They'll collect those. They'll draw 4 new tiles. They'll continue building the city, and then they'll try to attack, and hopefully they'll get more cards that will allow them to attack the monsters. The monsters in turn will then go after that, and it goes back and forth like that until 1 person wins the game. Like I said, if the human players are able to destroy 4 monsters, they win the game, or if they exhaust their city tile deck, they win the game. And the monster players win if they've destroyed the entire city, which it's tough to do, but it's possible. Or the city players cannot place a city tile, meaning that they have no open spots available. You can't place a city tile next to a destroyed section of the city. So the monster player's strategy is really to destroy the outskirts of the city, because once you've destroyed everything that's around, because you can't replace anything inside the city, you can't build out anymore. So that's kind of what the strategy for the monster player should be. Alright, well, that should really give you a really good idea of how to play the game. Now let me tell you exactly what I think. I will say one thing about the game, and this is just my personal feeling, and this kind of goes against a lot of things as far as my stance on game is good whether or not you have good components. I'll play if a game is really awesome. I'll play it if it's just stick figures and matchsticks. But obviously nicer components kind of make the game. This is really cool art. Here's Mechaton, but this is really cool art, and I really dig it. But obviously, how much cooler would it be if this was like little figures moving around? And I understand that for the price point that they're having the Kickstarter fund, and I'm assuming the price point the game will be at once it gets published, if you purchase it through a normal channel, if you will, that you can't really put in a bunch of really intricate, detailed miniatures, and it's going to cost more. But I'm pretty sure that if you were enterprising and you wanted to, you could go out and Monster Apocalypse, the miniatures game with the little monsters. You could find ones that fairly accurately represent the monsters that are represented here in the game, and I can only imagine how cool that would look. But then of course that would make it so you would want to play the monsters more, even more so than they already do. But anyway, I'm kind of getting beyond myself. So Kaiju City, it's not a real tough game to learn how to play. What I think, it was one of those things where I have my friends over and I say, well, what should we play today? And I usually have some games that I need to play to get reviewed, and I suggested several games. I said, oh, here's a game about the Great Fire of London. I was like, and here's a game about this dry economic euro. Here's a game where you get to play giant monsters rampaging through a city and you get to try to destroy it. Yeah, let's play that. And I guess that's what the theme of the game is, and that's what drives this game. I can remember watching Godzilla movies back when I was a little kid, and like when cable first got introduced. Yes, I'm that old. I mean, I remember when I had to move the antennas to be able to see what I wanted to watch. But when I got cable, I remember in the afternoons, especially during the summer when I was able to come home, when I was home already, that old WTBS shows back when they would start at like 8:05 and 7:35 and stuff like that. Because that 5 minutes, I never understood that. But they would always have a monster movie, on during the weekdays. And so I remember watching the old black and white, and then later on the color versions of all the old monster movies from Japanese cinema, and I dug the heck out of them. And so this game really appeals to that nature. Is it the most involved and thought-provoking game you're ever going to play? No, it really isn't. It's, if you're the monsters, you're just like, okay, I need to basically make sure that I keep myself healthy, because if I die, the city player gets that much closer to victory. And I need to kind of place myself in the best, most advantageous position, to affect the economics, if you will, the resources that the city gathers by destroying certain city tiles so they can't get people, or they can't get the gears, so they can't get that production, so they can't place more tiles. And also there do I sit on the military spot so it isn't able to attack, or do I just attack the military spot, maybe taking some damage, but then it's dead and I can move on. And so it's one of those games where it sounds more intricate than it is. I mean, your turn is like it's just a snap and you move forward. The city players do have a little bit more of a difficult situation, because they do have to do some resource management and look at their hand of tiles, if you will, that they need to place, and they need to kind of figure out, which, monster they're going to focus on, as far as to destroy them. But, in all honesty, I mean, their decision-making isn't that involved either. I know it says it's up to 6 people, and I've definitely played it with 6 people, with each person, playing one monster, and then 2 people playing the city. That's a little clunky. I mean, this game really feels like a 2-player game to me. I mean, it's fun still, but for one, just have one city player. I mean, having 2 people running the city is redundant. I mean, unless you're playing with, if you're playing, I played it with Rylan playing with me on the city, my daughter, who's 4, but I mean, she's just rolling the dice, and I'm just deciding which buildings to make. But I mean, each person running a monster, being a monster player, that works well. So I mean, 5 players is probably the maximum as far as it goes. But I mean, in that definition, I mean, you could have 8 people play and 4 people run the city. But I mean, and then it gets really ridiculous, of course. So the number of players, it's totally manageable, and you can decide which way you want to go. In fact, if you play the game and you find that you think maybe the monster players have it better, or the city players have it better, the game is very adjustable. I mean, you could have it so there was 5 monsters out instead of 4. You could play it with 3 monsters instead of 4. And so, as far as your gaming group goes, and as far as what they feel, works best for you guys, the game is really easily modifiable, and you can play it, pretty much how you want to. I tend to think of the game as being just your really, really bare bones dice roller, beat the hell out of your friends filler type game. Which, in all honesty, if the games are good, I really, really like those. I like the fact, playing a really involved game that makes my brain hurt when I'm playing it is a lot of fun for me. But every once in a while, I just, want to roll some dice and kill my friends. And this game suits that to a T. The theme is a complete bonus. I mean, obviously, you could make this game about anything. You could make it about spaceships, or you can make it about pirates, or you can make it about ninjas, or whatever. But this theme, for me, is a complete bonus due to the fact that it appeals to me. And I'm sure it appeals to a lot of other geeks out there as well. So I really, really enjoy it. It's not going to tax your brain in any way. It's not going to make you, think, like, oh, this is a completely and totally innovative, great new game. But, you know what? The artwork is amazing, and I can't say that enough. I mean, I really, really dig all the really, really cool artwork that they have, for the game. And I really, really dig, like I said, like the team aspect. Even though it is, like I said, only a 2-player game, there is a certain flair and certain awesomeness about playing with your friends, because this is a game of having a beer while you play it and making fun of the people that are rolling bad, and also the big. Like I said this before, it's like my friends are very animated when I play, and so am I, and so we tend to be. Acting out. It's like, oh, Wendigo, you suck. It's like, well, Pyrosaurus, you're destroying everything. Things like that. So it makes the game a lot more fun if you're into it and not just sitting there going, oh, here, hold on, I'll attack the city. Yeah, got it. Okay, let's go. And that's not what this type of game is. So if you're looking for a dull, boring game, this isn't for you. You're not going to like it. If you just want to be able to roll some dice and beat up your friends, this is a pretty awesome game. So, well, until next time, thank you very much for your time and consideration as you watch this video. If you have any questions or concerns, by all means, you can ask them. I'll answer them as soon as I possibly can. And until next time, this was Kaiju City. I'm Undead Viking. You have a great day. Bye.